We've got
Hey,
some
this is
fresh new
Luis.
young talent.
This
doing
is
some things that I know you
Luis.
haven't heard
You're listening
before.
to the Content is Profit podcast.
And we spent the last 4 years learning the strategies and techniques from some of the top marketers in the world on how to create content that turns into profit.
If you'd like to learn how to turn that content into profit, just go to contentisprofit.com. Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, go check it out right now, guys. And today we have actually a very special episode.
Yes.
Take it away.
Take it away, me?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you.
What's it about?
So actually, we were invited by the incredible people and partners from Clickfunnels to share some of our frameworks and knowledge with their top affiliates. And we just had the incredible opportunity to jump in there and talk about the publishing pyramid.
Hashtag juicy juicy.
Hashtag juicy goosey. Gucci Gucci.
Juicy juicy.
Hashtag juicy juicy. Hashtag ton of golden boulders. And we had a blast.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. So go enjoy the episode, and we will talk to you at the end of the presentation.
What's happening, Fonzie?
I don't know what is happening,
All
but
right,
I think it's the excitement.
Yeah.
Let's go. Let's do this.
Take it away.
See you guys.
Today we're going to be talking about the publishing pyramid, right? And you know, as a business, what we do is we actually have an agency that multi-purpose content on the back end, right? There's a little bit more to that, but that's a simple definition. And this framework, the publishing pyramid, is what took us from literally no online presence whatsoever and freelancing to like a six-figure agency in less than 6 months. You know, after everybody for years have been telling us, you guys have to publish a ton. So what I'll explain today is a little bit of our journey on how we discover and how we actually went out and started publishing, right? So not only that on the agency, but we've published more than 170 episodes by now. Entrepreneurs like Steve Larson, Alex Sharfin, Bart Miller, Todd Brown, the one and only, Turner Leslie here. And of course, like I said, everybody here is more than invited to come. We were able to speak at a live event. One of them, Marley Jack's VIP day, we were able to come in and share some of these frameworks. Podfest, VidFest, we got invited to talk to them. We have a couple live events in Texas later this year. So publishing is what allows us to do some of that. We currently are consistently publishing more than 400 pieces of content every single month, consistently without any friction, which is super incredible. So, the system that we were able to build was born out of the show. I'll show a little bit of that. And obviously building relationships with our Dream 100 is literally priceless, right? We were able to build a process and a team after being freelancers for about 4 years. And we were like getting, so done.
Yeah. I mean, we've honestly haven't even found that downside to publishing at first, and I think hand in hand with Ryan here, I was actually reading one of your Facebook posts that you did about fear, right? And we were so scared to just get in front of the camera and share a message, right? I mean, we're from South America, Venezuela. We have a little bit of an accent. Or English is, like my brother says, is very good looking.
It's not very good looking. That's
not
what
very
I said.
good looking.
Yeah.
And sometimes, we will get self-conscious. And honestly, just getting in front of the camera and sharing our message and dealing with those fears, we've gained so much. So every time we say, publishing, it's an understatement to say it has just brought us clarity and business. We honestly haven't found a downside to it. But so you guys get to know a little bit more of how the publishing pyramid started, how the process for us to multi-purpose all this content started, right? All our life, we wanted to be soccer players. That's what was in our mind. We just play soccer 24/7. We came to the States to play soccer on a college scholarship. And when that was over, pretty much our dreams crashed. We were like, okay, what are we going to do next? And I think a lot of athletes go on the way of, I don't want to work for anybody. I want to try to do my own thing. And they go into the entrepreneurial journey. So we decided to start a sticker company with one of our roommates. We did not know anything about business. Our roommate literally came one day and he's like, guys, let's start a sticker company. We're like, yes, let's do it.
How do we actually do the stickers?
Yeah, how do we do the stickers? How do we design? He's like, it doesn't matter. They got great margins. We're like, oh, that's awesome. What are margins? Right? Like, we knew nothing about business, and we started doing the stickers. Right after that, a few months after, we started doing screen printing. Fun fact, this t-shirt right here it was the last t-shirts we actually screen printed before saying goodbye to that business because it was absolutely horrible here in Florida. Screen printing in a garage, 90-degree Fahrenheit, 90% humidity. Trust me.
No bueno.
That's where we learned you need to enjoy the process, right? And again, publishing has brought a lot of joy to our lives. So when we started growing these businesses, we started getting educated into the Clickfunnels market. Actually, it was the .com secrets, kind of like the book that opened the gateway to the entrepreneurial journey. And, you know, Russell makes it pretty easy for you to believe, right? And trust yourself that you can do it. You read that book and you're like, I can build anything. I can build any business that I want to with these tools that he's sharing with you. So that was us. I was literally sitting in a Panda Express reading this book before going and coach some soccer kids. And I would call my brother like, dude, you need to read this book. This book is amazing. This book is amazing. So after that, we started a social media marketing agency and we just did a bunch of things, email marketing, video content creation, product launch, just whatever we could get our hands to, right? I mean, this resonated with what you shared, Ryan. We were just trading our time for money. We thought we had a business, but we were just playing freelancers at the moment. We had no systems, no processes, no nothing. And, you know, we were just like barely scraping by, which was not fun. And it got to a day that we were actually pitching about content to one of the people that we started working with eventually. And they were like, oh, this is all really cool. We love what you guys are doing, but where is your content? Like, we don't see what you guys are, you know, preaching about. We don't see you guys doing it. And we were like,
we should go do that presentation today. Just go.
Yeah, it was like 3 punches on the face, 1 on the gut, and it was bad, right? And we're like, okay, well, we need to start publishing. And we tried it before because everybody was like, publish, right? Like everywhere online we would go, you hear, you know, incredible people. Like, for example, we have Ping Yun here and he's like massive publisher, right? He shares so much content and we're like, oh, let's try to do it like him. Then you see Gary Vaynerchuk, like, oh, let's try to do it like him, right? Then Steve Larsen is like, oh, they're so loud. We want to be loud as well, right? And that led to us trying to implement at a capacity that we couldn't execute on, right? And immediately we would try it for maybe like a week, and it's like, okay, no, it's too much. We cannot do it, right? And it just kept going that way until one day we were in the middle of the 75 hard. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that challenge, yeah? And we were like, we were actually going pretty hard at it, and we look at each other like, huh? We've actually stayed pretty consistent with this. What if we apply the same principles from this challenge to publishing, right? And we came up with our own publishing challenge. We called it the 45 Live. The idea was go live one day, every single day for 45 days straight on Facebook, right? And it was absolutely amazing. We made it to day 17, right? But
yeah, both
the first time, yeah, we made it to day 17. That's it.
Pretty
but
much.
The reason being is because there were people listening, right? As we started sharing our message, people that didn't interact, they didn't engage with our content, they were actually listening. And one day, this guy reached out to my brother and he's like, hey, dude, I've seen your videos on Facebook. I'm actually doing a content dinner and inviting people. And I'm actually looking for someone just like you on your business for a project I'm about to pitch to this big real estate company. Would you like to join dinner? And my brother was like, absolutely, of course, right?
Yeah, free food always. Yeah, I mean,
and
why not?
He went, and that right there, that conversation became the biggest deal that we had at the moment, right? It was a 6-figure deal. We were like, what is this? This is absolute madness. Publishing works, right? And then we started fulfilling, and we started telling ourselves, you know what? We are too busy to keep publishing. Let's just fulfill. Until we went to Funnel Hacking Live, and we were at a table with incredible entrepreneurs like Josh Forty, right? And we started sharing this story, and they were like, wow, that's amazing. So you guys did it again, right? And we're like,
it's been 3 months.
Yeah.
And, no.
Nope. And that was like, why do we tend to change things? Let's do more of what works, right? And we started season 2 of 45 Live. And the cool thing is, I lasted till day 15 because we got more business. My brother did manage to finish. And I feel like I'm taking over, so I'm actually going to let him talk a little bit.
I mean, you're doing just fine, Fonzie. He was like, I'm nervous, dude. And I'm like, no, this is fine. But yeah, he actually, day 17, we got another client, right? Yep. Similar level. And it's like, okay, it works. And I was like, okay, I'm committed to those 45 days. And actually, if you go back to her feed, you will see those videos at 11:30 at night. It was like commitment, right? Like the only thing that we're committed to in here is consistency, right? Because without consistency, there's nothing to measure after, right? Like the consistency is the mother of all KPIs. And we're like, okay, this is it, right? And that establishes different conversations. We met incredible people that now are part of our business in different levels, right? As a client, as a partner, as a strategic partner. And we're like, okay, so this actually works. Like consistency works, right? Minimal viable content. That's how we call it, right? The 45 live, which for us meant going live. Now, for a lot of people, that might look different, right? It might look like a daily blog. It might look like posting on Instagram stories. It doesn't matter what your minimum viable content, but what is the thing that you can execute consistently, right? So one of these days, like after that, right, it got to a point where COVID hit where we live in Florida, and we were helping a ton of brick and mortars, right? We will go in and we'll actually record content in their location, right? With these cameras, all this equipment, and 80% of the clients that we had completely closed doors, and they called within a week and they're like, guys, we cannot pay you like next month. We don't even know how we're gonna survive. And crisis mode started. Big. I went to freak out mode. Fonzie was like slapping me in the face, like walk outside, go out, like take a walk. I cannot talk to you right now. When we came back, we were like, okay, we need to figure out how we're actually gonna continue to publish, but we gotta use this leverage to make sure that we can actually sell stuff or the service that we're comfortable with, so we're able to survive. We had about a 60-day runway, right? So talk about pressure. And that's why Content is Profit was born, right? And we decided to create it frictionless, because actually a year before that, it was like, okay, should we start a podcast? And we're like, heck yeah. So we purchased the equipment. If you see around here, there's a Rodecaster, we got the webcams, all the stuff. And the production value that we thought we needed was a lot of friction. So we never published any of the episodes. So we decided to go live. And that's why the show is live, right? So after that, we start building relationships. One of those relationships was Kathryn Jones, right? And she invited us over to her 9 at 9 show. And we're sharing this, and through publishing, we're getting these incredible epiphanies, incredible like frameworks that just are coming out because we're putting in the reps every single day on sharing what we're learning, sharing what we're doing, documenting the journey, right? And this concept came up, the publishing pyramid, which now became like probably our main framework that we even base off of the sales calls that we're having with our clients, the evolution and the journey that they're taking over, right? So we're gonna start explaining a little bit of that. Before Fonzie goes into the first stage, we gotta understand it from the top bottom, right? And then we gotta execute from the bottom up. And by the way, we do have a little bit of a workbook, so if you guys have access to it, please feel free to send us a message, and we'll send it, guys. We'll send it to you. So how do we understand from the top bottom? The first level at the very top, what we see is the resources, right? People scaling. So we see people like Russell, for example, like Gary. They have massive machines and teams behind this content. Most people are gonna see them. They're like, I want to do that. Like what happened to us, right? We will try the Pain Junes model, and we actually were at It's Monday Baby with Steve, and we came to Pain, and at the time the show was not a thing, right? And we're like, this is the thing that we're following and modeling it. But guess what? The capacity, the team is not there, the process is not there, and then we fall off, right? So we gotta understand, what are our resources? Do we actually have a team? Like, how much money do we have allocated for this? How much time do we have, right? Right under that is like, what is the capacity that we actually have to create, to promote, right? And we gotta be horribly honest with on like, what is this, right? To us, when we tackle 45 Live, it was 30 minutes a day, commitment, just us, no editing, right? Like that's what it was, right? Now with the team, right, we have a 3-time-a-week show. Each show lasts about an hour and a half, and so on. There's a process after, right? So what is our capacity today to be able to be consistent, which is the third step that we need to understand. How can we be consistent? What is my consistency cadence? Am I actually going to publish once a week? What does that look like? Am I going to publish 3 times a week? Am I publish every single day? What does that look like? Something that we can sustain over time without burning out. On the very bottom, the very base is like, none of that works if we don't have the messaging right. Like, who are we talking to? What is the audience that we're helping? Like, what are the problems that we're solving, right? If that's not clear, then everything else is going to start crumbling, right? So we got to start at the very base, which, Fonzie, ball back at you.
Back to messaging, right? And like my brother said, that is the very first step when we start executing. And we kind of like discovered at first that we couldn't find that message alone, right? We needed to have conversations with the people that we were trying to help to really understand what are their pains, right? Where are they trying to go? And then how we can help them and how we can show that in our messaging, right? Very, very important. But a lot of times when we started, right, we worried about the production at first. It was like, oh, we wanted to make it look incredible, just put so much friction. So what we started telling ourselves just to execute was quality of the message over quality of the production every single time. Quality of the message over quality of production. And that was mainly me because I was the one that did a lot of the editing before we had a team. And I was I'm still sometimes have, like that feeling of like perfectionist sometimes. It's got to slap it real quick, get it out of me. But it's tough, man. But we started just saying to ourselves, that was our mantra. Quality of the message over quality of the production. So for that, we decided to just focus on simple, right? One problem, one solution. What is that message that we're just going to be consistent with? Then people won't remember always what you say, but they will remember how you made them feel, right? So, okay, what are those stories that we're sharing? Are we bringing emotions, right? Because emotions then create memories. And then, right, if people recall those emotions, they're going to start thinking about, this person made me feel this way, right? And they're going to start remembering you. Then we discover eventually that there were what we call now the 3 P's of differentiation, right? Product, process, and personality. And we were like, okay, what can we tackle with our message, right? I mean, I'm going to be honest. We do leverage the fact that we are brothers, right? Real brothers with the same name. You guys have heard that they call me FONZI, but it's because my real name is Luis as well. He's Luis Daniel. I am Luis Alfonso. So people get all confused and we're like, okay, you can just call me FONZI. But then people are always saying like, oh yeah, the brothers with the same name, right? And we started creating like a brand. And also, we used to wear the same shirts every single time for the first like 150 episodes with the backwards hats. All right, it's like this guy's
copy paste,
right? But that became part of our brand, of our messaging, right? And then obviously we say be passionate and vulnerable about what you're sharing, share your stories, and I repeat this one again, there's no memory without emotions, right?
Right. So yeah, to kind of complement a little bit of that, like whatever medium that we're doing, either if it's Instagram posts, lives, right, a show, that message has to stay consistent, right? There's different mediums and it's going to look and feel different as far as like the production value of it, right? It's going to evolve. As we get more resources, we can invest in the machine and that production value ends, but the message at its core stays very solid, right? So obviously the next stage is like that is consistency, right? So with consistency, it comes opportunity. The very cool example was the 45 light one, right? And it was day 14. And I remember I was coming at that time I actually had a job, right? And I was coming from my job around 10 p.m. My son was 4 months old. And I was like, man, I got to do this 45 light thing. Like we committed publicly. I got to do it, right? So I go home and that was about the time that I needed to give him a bottle, right? So I grab the baby, I sit down in the couch, give him the bottle, put him back to bed. It's 11 at night, 11:30, I think it was, right? And I'm like, dang it, I got 30 minutes. I like, should I do it? Okay, I'm actually gonna do it, right? And it was the first video that I actually, I recorded outside of our studio. It was in my house, in the couch where I feed the baby, right? So I'm like, okay, guys, the video was literally like, I'm sharing a story of something that happened at work with the publishing, the stuff that we're doing for them, right? And how I was very unhappy. And that was the video at 11:30 at night that these guys saw, that the guys reached out to me at midnight, that turned into a 6-figure contract for us, right? So it's like, oh man, what would have happened if I would have said, done, right? So with consistency comes opportunity. So after that, we duplicated that model again, season 2, and it worked. And then we duplicated again when we launched the show. In about 3 months, we recovered all the sales that we lost because we were consistent on the production and the promotion and the connection aspect of it. So I just want to like drill that because consistency tends to be the most challenging thing to do it, right? Because we don't have the resources or the capacity to implement something that we might have thought. Sometimes we just grab this massive bite and it's really challenging to fulfill, right? So obviously quality of the message over quality of the production, out of sight, out of mind, out of business. I think this quote, we grabbed it directly from Uncle G, Grant Cardone, right? I'm going to repeat it. Out of sight, out of mind, out of business, right? This is why we're super fans of high volume. In every single of our accounts, I think 4 between 4 and 7 pieces of content go out every single day, right? And it's been very interesting to see what's happening, because it's very low friction, because we do have a system that allows for that. But at the same time, it's multiple points of contact with different people inside of our market, and people see it, right? They see our face coming out every single day. By the way, it doesn't only come out of the BIZBROS account, it comes out of our accounts as well. So people are like, man, I've seen the stuff that you guys been putting out for like a year now. I'm like, awesome. How do you like it? What's your favorite episode? I have no idea, but I like it, right? And it's like, okay, we are there. Is a branding element at some point, and we're multiplying, we're present in front of their eyes, right? Something really cool is like, okay, try to identify what your minimum viable content is, right? Well, is it Facebook Lives? Is it Instagram stories? Like, how am I going to be consistent? Right now we have a minimum viable show, because now we have resources. But before that, it was minimum viable content on its own, and we got to define that to get started. Yeah. Consistency equals art. FONZI came out with this. ART stands for authority, relevancy, and trust, right? If we are consistent every single day, you are going to become that person of authority. You're going to become relevant to your audience, because they're going to see you every single day. They want to meet you. They want to learn from you. This is why we were able to launch season 3 of 45 Live publicly for the first time, open to somebody else. And we had about 100 people that were ready to do, like, let's do it. Completely free, no Facebook ads. And we launched it, and it was a huge success.
Thinking about it, we should have put Clickfunnels as an affiliate part in that deal right there, you know.
Turner, we're coming.
I know.
you came like 2 months a little too late.
Season 4 of 45 Live coming soon.
Yeah, and obviously, and this is something that was shared earlier too. You know, you are the only one that listens 100% of your message, right? We gotta be comfortable with sharing these stories. Like the potato gun story, I don't think we've shared the 45 Live story, just like Russell, but that's probably one of the stories that we share the most, right? Yep. And it resonates, and it clicks, because people are feeling that pain. The people that we're trying to connect with are in that spot. So identify those stories, and you're gonna find those stories through the consistency of your publishing.
That's right. That's something that was, you know, it was key for us. The fact that we stay consistent, it allows you to see, oh, I'm talking about these messages so consistently. People are asking me about these same things, and I'm repeating myself over here. This is what needs to have a little bit more attention. And that consistency has allowed us to build frameworks just like this one, like the publishing pyramid that we're talking about today. So consistently, 100%. Then comes capacity. And there's a quote that we absolutely love is, you can do anything once you stop trying to do everything, right? And that, I feel like that describes content creation for, I would say, 80 to 90% of people. They're trying to do everything, right? And then you get accomplished nothing. And for us, it became a matter of, okay, where do we need to focus, right? At first, it was 45 Live. And as we started building our resources, then it became a matter of, can we put those resources into building a process that is going to allow us to multiply this? But the focus was then the process. So super important. You can do anything once you stop trying to do everything. Your capacity is relative to your resources. Again, money, time, the time of your team, right? At first, the two of us, there's no way we could have executed the M2M. That is the name of the process that we use to multi-purpose, right? There's no way we could have done it for our clients and for ourselves. No way. As soon as we started hiring a team, that changed, because now we can leverage their time as well. And guess what? We can do the show now 3 times a week, and there's always content coming out after the show. Then respect the cadence. Super, super important. Whatever your cadence is, you got to stick to it on the long term. We had actually an agency owner local here in Jacksonville, Florida, and he shared that he has grown his agency for the last 20 years in a row. And we're like, what's the secret, right? And he's like, respect the cadence. That's it. He's like, once I established the cadence, that's what I did day in and day out. So we got that in between our heads. And we're like, okay, what is the capacity, right, that fits that cadence? And let's stick to it on a consistent basis. KISS, we all know what that means. Keep it, I kind of change it a little bit. Keep it super simple. Capacity is growth, should model the compound effect, right? And for those that are familiar with, compounding effects, you start and you don't really see much of a momentum, and all of a sudden it just starts escalating quicker and quicker and quicker. And that is what happens when you stick to your capacity in the long term. And like my brother said, you got to be brutally honest with yourself, because our perceived capacity is often not our real capacity, right? We overestimate what we can do in the short term, and we underestimate what we can do in the long term. So a lot of times we're like, oh yeah, I can do 20 funnels and 100 episodes of podcast in a week, right? Let's be honest with ourselves. We probably won't be able to do all that, but what if I commit to do one podcast episode per week, right? For the next 3 months. So again, being brutally honest with capacity.
The last stage, resources, to kind of wrap this up is, growth is never by chance, test and then invest, and when it is testing the other elements that we talked about, right? The messaging, your consistency, your capacity. You got to understand, like, how do we work? How does our team work, right? Like, and through that, we can start testing different systems, different tools, right? And this is all framework based, right? Like, everything started literally on Google Docs, and then we've been plugging in different tools that we can leverage to increase the velocity, right? And that framework, right? So scaling is directly correlated to the resources successfully invested in the right processes, right? So I think that's super important, and we're only gonna discover that through consistency, through doing the reps, right? Just like working out, we're gonna expand that muscle. We're gonna make it work. We're gonna sweat, and we're gonna sit down and we're gonna reflect, and we're like, sounds good. This actually worked. I feel good with this, right? There's a concept that we've been sharing a lot lately is content umami. What is that content that makes you feel good? Not only on the production value, but also on the message, on was I able to execute when I said I was going to able to execute, right? Like, what happens inside of our mind when we say we're going to publish once a week, let's say a long form content show, and that doesn't happen. We're training our subconscious to not execute, right? So let's set those goals, right? And apply those frameworks to be able to be consistent so we can get these resources. How do we get those resources? Obviously, we're going to attach it to an amazing offer presented on Clickfunnels so we can cash in, and then we can reinvest in our team, in our systems, and continue the content flywheel, like so many of our guests have coined this. So on our side of things, what's next? Obviously, we are actually starting our affiliate journey. This is like a starting point for us, so we're super stoked to connect with each one of you guys. On the publishing side of things, if you guys have any question, we'd love to chit chat and get to know each one of you. Again, doors are open for the show if you guys want to come and talk about what you guys do. And let's connect. We're on Facebook as BIZBROS Go for the page, but you can find Luis Camejo for both. We have orange pictures all over the place. And
same brothers, same
profile
names, same profile pictures. Yeah.
There's a competition out there that's hashtag pick a bro. So, definitely we should pick right now. No, I'm kidding. no pressure. But it has been a pleasure. I hope this was useful. If you guys want the visuals and the PDF, please send us a quick DM. We'll send it also to Turner so he can, put it on a resource page or something like that. But it's been a pleasure, and thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, and we are back.
We are back. How
was
do you
that?
like that?
Oh, it was golden boulders all over the place, man. That was so cool.
It was absolutely amazing. It was a great experience, actually.
Yes.
For those that listen, I don't know if you knew this, but Penjun was there. Right? Gabe Schillinger was there. Turner, the one and only Turner Leslie, who was part of the Contents Profit family, who is part of the Contents Profit family.
RJ as well.
RJ was there. So many
such
incredible
a cool party. The feedback was like, we should be doing this more often, right?
Yes.
And so for those who are not familiar with ClickFunnels was actually the company with one of their books, .com Secrets, that got us into this incredible world and giving us the tools to actually go and pursue what we love to do. Yeah. And it has facilitated our process, our selling process, and the content hubs that we create are in there. And it's so fun. And those are some of the things that we're going to start implementing and integrating it with the 45 Live Challenge, with the group. It's going to be so fun.
Yeah, absolutely. So guys, thank you so much for tuning in today, for listening to our presentation.
Yes.
And with that being said,
thank you guys so much for tuning into the Content is Profit podcast. Go ahead and follow the show in your favorite platform and on social media at BIZBROS Go.
That is right. And if you found that presentation impactful, please don't forget to share it and leave a 5-star review. See ya.
Bye, guys.